I'm Danielle. I'm 22 with CF. I have a mom, a dad, an older brother, and a dog. I'm a writer, and I host a chat room for chronically ill teens. I did have a more severe case because I got 2 copies of the Delta F508 gene mutation, which they're finding now is the more severe mutation to have. I was pretty healthy growing up until about the age of 10, and that's when I realized that I had to start taking care of myself a little better, do my treatments, make sure that I got in all my calories and stuff like that. Going through elementary school, it was pretty easy to hide that I had CF. Not too many kids were even curious at that point. Junior high is when it started to become pretty apparent because of my weight especially, and I was starting to cough more. As the years went on, I lost a little bit of lung function every year to the point where in high school, I would have to think about where I parked because it would take energy to walk to my next class. My mom used to say it was like I would take 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. Between my junior and senior year, a sudden decline in my health. My lungs just went from about, I think they were holding steady around 50%, all the way down to that August they were in 20% or so. And by the time I was flown out to the children's hospital that would do a transplant, I had dropped to like 12%. So I was very close to not making it. The reason we went with living donor is just because I didn't have time for anything else. I didn't have time to even be tested fully to get on the list, and once I was on the list, I wouldn't have had any time to wait. So we decided living donor would be best, and just happened to be at one of the best hospitals to have that done. My donors were both of my parents. They ended up matching, and my dad gave me his lower right lobe, and my mom gave me her lower left lobe. They took my entire lungs out and replaced them with 1 lobe on each side and then inflated them to fill my whole lung cavity. My parents both recovered fully. The same way my lobes expanded in my chest, whatever was left in theirs expanded the same way, and they're back up to 100% lung function. Walking through life with my parents' lungs feels very natural. It feels like that's the way it was meant to be, and that's why it's worked out so well. I was 16 when I got the transplant, and just before my 17th birthday. I got out of the hospital on my 17th birthday. From the time I got to the hospital that would do the transplant to the day I actually got it was about 2 weeks. I think just under 2 weeks. When I think about my parents and all they've given and everything that they've done, I don't know how they did it. My parents are so strong. I can't imagine going through what they went through. They didn't give up, they didn't let me give up, and they never gave me any indication that I couldn't come through it, that we couldn't make it better in the end. When I was in isolation and just hanging out at home most of the day after my transplant, I found online a community for chronically ill teenagers. So I was a part of their chat rooms and got to meet some really cool people. And I actually now work for that same chat room as a chat host and get to share my story as well as hear some more amazing stories from teens that are going through the same things now that I went through. It's exactly like walking backwards and seeing my own past in a different light through their eyes and their experiences.